Exactly 47 days ago, we planted our very first fall garden, not knowing if it was going to be a success or a huge, massive of a failure.
And here it is, early November, still in the 80s. And spoiler alert, we are fixing to have our first harvest. So here in this plot was actually the last plot that we had planted. We have cilantro, zucchini, squash, cucumbers, and corn growing along the back row. Right through here is our cilantro. Then here's our zucchini. We actually have little tiny zucchinis growing off of the plant. Back off on this one here are two little baby squash developing well. And right here, we actually have a little mini pickling cucumber. And then our corn is not really doing too great. It's a little sappy looking.
So overall, the squash and zucchini plants are doing really good. I mean, just take a look at them. They're massive. I don't know if we'll have much luck with the cucumber or corn. That will be determined at a later date, but awesome on these.
So over here, we have our actual fall garden growing, which actually consists of the greener vegetables, such as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, and then I have butternut squash and some lettuce growing over here, and I can't wait to show you this stuff. So off in here is actually our butternut squash that is growing really well. We have some big butternut squash starting to come up. Well, I say big, but they're still probably about 2 inches in length, which is going to be amazing. Then over here is our cabbage plants. Hopefully they form a head on them. They look absolutely healthy and amazing. Here are some of our cauliflower plants that are growing well. Check out the Brussels sprout plants. They are nice and bushy. And then we have a few broccoli plants that are growing very, very well. Oh, and something absolutely insane happened. We have a watermelon plant. I did not plant this. Probably about a year ago, we had watermelons and cantaloupe growing in here. And apparently these were some seeds that had decided to grow and sprout. And there's actually tiny watermelons growing in here. Let's see if I can spot one. Might take me a minute.
Which is kind of an interesting forced experiment because I didn't know that you could grow watermelons this late in the season. And in theory, if you started them out maybe a month earlier than we did, you would actually be able to get a second harvest of melons, which would be pretty cool.
Pretty crazy, but there is that little tiny watermelon right there. Cannot wait to see what happens with this. Definitely have to update and keep an eye on it.
Over here is the third and final plot.
This is absolutely insane. Ready?
That is all of Staci's beets. A ton of beets.
Oh yeah, a bunch of them have grown and came up in here, and there's actually some pretty good sized ones still in the ground.
I would say out of everything that we planted, these are doing the best.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just a massive row of beets popping up all the way down. I mean, way down, nothing but beets.
So these guys may have been planted a little too close together, and they've started coming up really, really thick. So thick that some of them aren't actually producing beets at the bottom of them, so we got to get in here today and do some thinning out, but that is okay because we have found that
beet greens are very tasty.
Delicious. One of our new favorite things. So we're going to get out here today and pull a ton of these, and then we'll show you how we prepare them to make them tasty and delicious. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we have some really nice rows of spinach that are coming up as well, and those need to be harvested as well. I've just come through and touched this plot up a little bit, knocked the weeds down in it just a little bit more. Let's go check on Staci, see how she's doing.
I am clipping spinach. That's how much we got so far.
Nice.
I know.
So around half of a gallon bag just from there
to
there. She still has the rest of it to go. That's pretty good. Staci's almost made it to the end. She's about 85% of the way through. I did have to go get her a bigger container because her bag got full already.
Got a big bag of spinach now, and then a bunch in this little basket, so we're really loading up on it.
She's almost done. She's getting really slowed down in places like right there where it's just really thick and there's a ton ready to be cut. Also, we do not know what variety of spinach this is. That's why we haven't mentioned it to you guys in the video. We bought it from a feed store in bulk, but whatever it is, it's growing really, really well. As soon as Staci's done cutting that, we'll move over to the beets. Look at those guys.
Hard work right there.
And it paid off. Check out Staci's haul.
That's a lot of spinach.
That is a lot of spinach.
That's crazy.
About halfway full.
I wasn't expecting that much.
I wasn't either. That's pretty good.
Yes.
All right, let's see what we can do for beets.
So I just went through and thinned out the beets. Here's all the ones that I pulled. A bunch. Little beets, beet greens.
I think you need to go back through there again. Actually.
I'm honestly afraid of like interrupting the roots on some of them that are actually growing really good.
I do want to say too that we have some beets that are like this big, right?
Yeah.
But some of them are growing so closely together that they're only that size if you're lucky, and then in a lot of cases there's nothing. So
they're all greens.
They gotta be, which is cool. We love greens.
Yeah.
Definitely planted too many too close together, but this is our first time really growing. Yeah.
It's like nothing there. They're still gonna taste good though.
Yeah, absolutely. But we know for next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we have a lot of beets. Well, little micro beets, mini beets. Greens.
But a lot of greens. To be honest, the greens, I like them just as much as the actual beets. They're good.
Yes,
definitely. I don't know if y'all have ever tried them before, but we can tell you they are delicious.
They're almost like spinach, but with a more kind of sweeter flavor. So now I have all of my beets in here. I've already got started. I am separating the greens from the roots. Got to pull one out, a better one. So I take one of these, cut it up maybe about an inch from the green to the root in there, greens go in here. Now I'm bringing some water to a boil, and I'm going to blanch these greens and store them away for freezing. I'm going to blanch these for 2 minutes and then pull them and put them in cold water. And check it out, one beautiful bag of beet greens ready for the freezer. Well, here's a little November update. We got a cold spell last night, and my zucchini plants and squash plants back over here in the back are not doing very good, so I am going to cut off whatever I can that we have on them right now and see how well that part is, I guess. We managed to get 3 off of here. I am going to let them set and kind of see what they do. I'm not so sure, considering these leaves are very, very wilty, but I don't know. I guess we'll just kind of take it day by day and see what happens, but the cilantro are all looking good. They handled the frost pretty well. Turns out the butternut squash was not truly frost tolerant, as the package claimed. Our cabbage is fine, and of course the Brussels sprouts are all good, and so is the cauliflower and broccoli, as expected. The watermelons are looking fine. There's even a little one right there hanging on the fence. The beets have definitely taken it pretty well also, and there's a huge one growing right in here. I cannot wait to harvest these guys.
Switching gears from the vegetables, we are now doing something a little different. Staci was actually blessed with a big old buck deer, so now we're going to process that down. This is our second year of doing this, where we take the deer from the field to the freezer entirely on our own. And right now we got the grinder out, we got the meat tub, and we got the mixer, and we're going to be doing
Deer burger meat. At least that's what I'm going to call it.
And
sausage. Breakfast sausage.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that right now. In the past, we've always ground it up and then mixed it by hand, but today we have a mixer. We've never had the luxury of a mixer. I think it's going to make things a lot easier, and it's going to keep our hands a lot warmer too, which I'm excited about, because we always partially freeze the meat before we throw it in the grinder. So the process is going to be to grind it, take it from here, mix it, and then bag it, and then freeze it. So over here we got all of our deer meat, also known as venison, but I don't like that word, so from the remainder of this video I'm going to be saying deer meat, or just deer. And for those of you who don't know, deer is a lean meat, so you have to add some other kind of fat. Like for our hamburger meat that we're going to be mixing up right now, and for our summer sausage and stuff like that, we're going to be using beef tallow, which a lot of times you can get this for free. We paid $1 a pound for this, which is pretty good. And then for our sausage, we like to use bacon bits and pieces. This stuff is pretty great. These are the ends and trimmings from bacon that is undesirable, so you end up with a lot of chunks of fat and things like that in there, which is perfect for this type of stuff, and it's really cheap.
So we're using 17.5 pounds of deer and a little over 4 pounds of beef fat.
So what would that ratio be?
Probably like, I would guess
70,
maybe
30?
like 85, probably like 85, 15-ish.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Last year we had to be very careful of how much fat we fed in versus how much meat we fed in, and the ratio of that, but this time we have the mixer, so we can just kind of throw it in with reckless abandon and just mix it up later. Dang, you're grinding all that?
I am. That's the goal.
Will it grind? It's a big chunk.
I know, it's huge.
There it goes. Oh, wow. Our grind is complete. This is about 20 pounds of beef tallow and deer meat. And we're getting ready to toss it in this guy here. This can handle about 20 pounds. Looks like we might have too much, but we're going to find out. So we may have been mixing it the wrong direction. We turned it the other way, and it really does a better job of doing its mixing job. All right, our mixing is complete. Everything looks very well incorporated. So now we're gonna bag it up in these bags. And we're more worried about uniformity and consistency than we are actual weight. So what we're gonna do is fill this cup up with an unknown weight of meat, and that is what we're gonna be using today to portion the meat out. Pack it in the old coffee cup there. I think this is how we did it last year, but we may decide to abandon this altogether here in just a minute, especially once we realize how hard it is to get the meat out of the cup.
Give it a good shake.
Hold on, hold on.
It went in.
Perfect. Now we're just going to lay these unsealed bags in here until we get done, and then we're going to seal them up. So we got 4, 8, 11 bags of meat, so that's 20 pounds. That's roughly 2 pounds a bag. Now we're going to seal it up. This is a chamber vacuum sealer, and this was a Christmas gift to Staci, and it is amazing. We use this so much for meal prep and all kinds of things. It's literally the best thing that we ever bought. Close it. Beautiful. The best part about it is you can flatten it out, make it very thin, and it thaws out in just a few minutes. And that is the finished product, about 20 pounds of deer burger. We also use these nifty little baskets that we bought on Amazon for storing stuff in the freezer. It makes organization a lot better.
Beautiful meat for the freezer. Store her on up.
Bada bam.
Perfect.
Yes. So now it's time. We're going to do the sausage, and this is going to be breakfast sausage. We're going to use these guys right here, some packages that Staci bought. Basically the same process, except this time we were smart, and we're going to feed the meat directly into the mixer, at which point we'll incorporate our seasoning to make our breakfast sausage.
8 pounds of deer and 3 pounds, the whole 3-pound package of the bacon bits.
Whatever that ratio is. Do you know?
It's supposed to be a 70-30.
Okay.
But it's probably going to be a little bit more lean than
that's...
that, which is fine.
Okay. This is what the bacon bits and pieces look like out of the package. It's not uncommon too to find like whole pieces of bacon that there's nothing wrong with in here. These are just the pieces that were imperfect, that they couldn't sell in a nice pretty package. The meat's all ground up. Now Staci is mixing up the other stuff to go in.
and I'm not sure if I like the way it smells.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It smells kind of minty.
Really? Let me
Yeah, I don't like that kind. I might just dump my other seasoning in it.
sniff. That's gonna be good.
Wait, can I see?
That'll be good.
So just
All right.
mix. Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, go ahead.
Uh-oh. Let me pull some of that over there. All right. We're about to dump it in. Ready?
Do
We'll
it.
watch it.
Okay.
We're so fancy with our Raising Cane cup. Ooh, nice. Mixer, Lukey, mixer. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that actually smells very good.
It does, doesn't it?
So I'm smashing out a little patty, and we're going to do a taste test on it because it smells great.
It does. Stacy wasn't too sure about it at first, but once it got all incorporated into the meat, it smells delicious.
So we're going to find out if it tastes delicious.
But it does. Got the old sausage sizzling over here. And I just want to say really quick that I absolutely love this thing. It is amazing. I thought it was going to be a little bit on the smaller side. We did over 20 pounds in it, 21 pounds to be exact. And it handled it pretty well. Definitely far better than mixing it by hand. And everything on it's stainless steel too, so I like that about it. It was kind of pricey, but you're going to be mixing meat up in any kind of quantity. I think it's a good thing to have around. And there's a lot of different brands that sell these. All right, taste test complete. What do you give that, Lucas?
A 9 because it burned my hand.
Okay.
I give it a 10. Like,
It's
that's
perfect.
Yeah.
It is literally perfect.
It's the perfect mix.
So we don't have to add anything. So we can just bag it up now. Same as we did last time.
Actually,
Yes, let's do it.
actually a 10.
It was good, right?
Yeah.
For homemade.
Grating some burritos, like Stacy said a minute ago.
Yes. Deer, egg, and cheese burritos.
Yeah. So we're right at 21 pounds of deer burger and about 23 pounds of sausage. And now it's time to make some chili meat for dinner. So that's what we're going to do. We've actually never done chili before, so we're pretty excited to see how this turns out. So after we ground up the chili, Stacy is browning it with some onions, right?
Yes, with some onions. I'm going to throw some green chilies in it in just a minute as well. He's so busted. How is it?
Yeah, hot.
Hot.
That was too hot.
Hot bowl of chili.
That was really, really good though.
Cute.
All right, so after a full day's work, we have about 43-ish pounds of hamburger meat and sausage. Pretty nice.
That's awesome. Lots of work.
Also, Stacy made up some deer chili for the first time, and it is unbelievably good. Like, I can't even believe how much you nailed it. It's grand slam on that. All right, you guys, we are super excited. We're out here in the garden today with some really good news and some not so good news. First, we'll take a walk over here and we'll let Stacy explain to you what the bad news is. Well, it's kind of easy to tell what the bad news is.
It's pretty self-explanatory. At the same time, while it's bad news, it's also still kind of good news. Of course, the frost ended up getting the zucchini and squash plants, but at the same time, we still have zucchinis growing that need to be cut off. Ta-da!
Looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. It's a pretty big zucchini there. I know there's another. Yep.
So I'm not sure how this works. The frost obviously would have gotten onto this too, just as it did the plants, but it looks really nice. So
There's our other one.
Feels good. It's super firm. We'll go ahead and get these picked up real quick and we will see what we got. By the way, these are really cool, but it is not the good news. There's even better to come. But for now, we're gonna get these picked.
Twist that little guy off.
Nice.
And there's number 4.
Well, there's 4 decent sized zucchinis in there. There's still some more left on the plants. I think she's gonna wait and see how those kind of progress. Yeah. Even though we are getting into some pretty cold nights now.
I'll just see what happens and go from there with it. We'll see what happens.
It's all been an experiment. This is our first time growing. In the past, we would plant our seeds in the spring and that's it. This has kind of opened our eyes to a different type of gardening. I think from now on, we're gonna plant seeds and then wait a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and then plant more seeds. and just keep a rotational crop growing all year long, or as long as we can anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at the more hardy stuff that actually likes the cold and show that to you.
So I have learned that the butternut squash plants are not frost tolerant, as it stated on the package. As you see, burnt leaves, but I mean, we do have butternut squash here. It looks like this one's actually starting to turn in color like it's supposed to, so I guess we'll just see what happens with those.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
And by the way, we haven't even really had a super hard frost. It's been, I don't know, what's the lowest temperature we've gotten to?
I think it's 35 or 33 to 35 is what it's been.
So just barely frost. Those did not do good, and those over there did not do good. But these guys here, they love the cold.
Yeah, they're doing amazing. Like, all of the cabbage plants here are doing awesome. They're actually starting to form heads on the inside.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, see, look. Here's like a little head that's obviously starting to form in here, which is pretty awesome.
And these plants here actually seem to have really started to thrive once that kind of actual cold has set in.
Yeah,
because up until just about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, we were still getting into like the 90s during the day. So.
Yeah, they had a light frost on them this morning too.
But they like it.
Oh yeah, this is all the cauliflower here. There's nothing forming on these yet, but on our Brussels sprouts, there appears to be little nodules coming up on this one down in here. They're real tiny right now, and it's hard to tell, but I'm assuming that that is what we have growing.
We're hoping. We've never actually grown Brussels sprouts, so maybe you guys can let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. So these beets here are actually starting to pop out of the ground, which indicates that I believe these guys are ready to harvest.
So harvesting, step 1, and step 2, we're gonna can them.
This is gonna be a ton of work. It's really gonna beat us down.
Some of these should have definitely been thinned out a little better than what they were, but there are gonna be a mix of big ones and small ones.
Yeah, which, I mean, they're still gonna be good no matter what.
All right, show us. Pick the first one. This is
This
your
one's
moment,
gonna be
honey.
small.
We'll pick a big one first.
No. So there's, that's a little one. I'll pull this big one.
We'll do a whole can of small ones. That'd probably be pretty good.
Oh my gosh, look.
And look at that one. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the leaf is already falling off. That is awesome.
Beautiful.
Huge, look.
Yes. Nice. Look at the contrast there, actually.
Yeah.
And you know, this one was kind of on the end where it shouldn't have mattered as far as like thinning out goes. So some of them just grew better than others. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure why that is. We didn't fertilize or anything like that either, by the way. So.
No, we did not. That's a big old beet.
Nice. Gosh.
Here's another.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want them to
Another
get too
good-looking
big
one.
either, so I don't want them to be really tough. This guy here is like jumping out of the ground. Oh man.
Beauty. What a beauty.
These two here were literally growing side by side.
See, and that's the
That's
thing.
deformed.
They grew side by side, but like that one actually got to be pretty sizable, although it is deformed. And then some of these grew out on their own, kinda, where there wasn't a whole lot of competition, and they still grew pretty small.
Oh gosh, there's some weight to these too.
It's a hefty one. Oh my goodness.
I know. So with the little bit that we just picked, the crate is already getting full. So Adam has a
We're
wheelbarrow.
gonna switch to the wheelbarrow, and if this ends up being too small, I guess we're gonna get the bucket to the tractor. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. So still so much
Can I
to be
pull some?
picked. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go see if Kane wants to help. He might be interested.
Oh wow, that's a tiny one.
That's chicken food.
Yes, definitely. They love them too, which is my fault. I fed it to them. Awesome.
Nice, dude. Yours is bigger than mine. I got the record here, dude.
Beet picking we go. It's so crazy. We had to go and call for help.
One yet, dude.
So I'm a little sad that this row here is going to end up being completely empty. But check it out. Ooh,
Nice.
that's a nice one. Look at how much we have so far. Almost filling up the wheelbarrow.
And we've barely made it 5 feet.
I know, it's absolutely insane. I love it.
Obviously, one of the things we could have done is gone ahead and picked the bigger ones and left the smaller ones to grow, and they would have done much better because they wouldn't have been competing anymore. That's a monster, dude. Yeah. But we got quite a bit going on and some other things that need our attention, so we're going to go ahead and just wipe this all out in one fell swoop.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, dude. That's a nice one.
Wait a sec. This one's really big.
Looks like we need to go get the tractor because this wheelbarrow is just about full.
Not very big.
It's like, start eating them.
The chickens are going to have a pile that they're going to get access to here in just a minute as well.
What the heck? Look, it's got pinchers. Broken. I guess they were
Oh
just
my goodness.
kind of flat on the ground, huh?
Ugh. Woo!
Dang, that's a
That
cute
one's
one.
pretty big. Yeah.
Okay. It smells so beety over here,
What do you expect?
like dirt.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
Welcome to the garden.
The chickens absolutely love these beets. Chickens over here.
Bark, bark, bark.
They're too busy chasing each other around to realize there's a whole bunch of them right here.
Cool.
And I know we can actually freeze those and eat those, and they are quite delicious. They're one of our favorite things.
We can do it.
However, we're going to have so many that it's okay to share with the chickens. I guess most of the chickens are full of beet greens. Some of them anyway. So we've got 2 crates full, a wheelbarrow full, and most of a tractor bucket full.
Our last little bit.
How are you, honey?
Thanks. Woo, we got a lot of beets. This is gonna be insane. This is gonna probably end up being a ton of jars of beets.
Yeah, I think so.
That is a tractor full of beets. Well, we had to make a little trip and go get jars. I went to open my pantry and I realized I was completely out. So hopefully we have enough jars to do the canning of our beets. We got our vinegar here and then our sugar, and I will show you how I do them. So here we are, some of the beets. I'm going to take and cut off probably about 1 inch or 2 of the greens here. Leave that on, clean them up, boil them until they're tender. So here we have some beets boiling on the stove now. They're all cleaned up and cut, but I've already got 1 pot done and these guys are peeled and getting ready. Now I am making my brine, which consists of 8 cups of vinegar and 8 cups of sugar.
So it's the next morning here, and this is the progress of the beetscapade. Staci has 15 jars here. Looks like there are, 5 big ones and 10 little ones. This is the collection of greens so far. That is absurd. There are so many in there. We're about to go dump this for the chickens right now.
The chickens seem to be awfully vocal this morning. Hi, chickens. And it should be mentioned too that we did actually save quite a bit of greens for ourselves. Oh my goodness. We saved a lot of greens for ourselves. We preserved some through methods of freezing. We didn't can any. Although Staci did talk about canning some of the stems. I think that would have been pretty cool, but it's just a lot. So we're doing what we can. But I don't think the chickens mind helping out with this. Not a bit. It's still pretty early in the morning, but let's see. If they have laid us any eggs. Cool. 2. We'll put them in the pocket and hopefully don't forget that they're there and make a mess of it. And 2 more. Cool. And these are freshly laid, so I expect more.
By the way, we have about 17 hens, I think, in here, and we're still getting about 9 to 10 eggs a day, which isn't bad for this time of year. I'd like to see a little bit more, but it's not bad.
Here we have 19 jars of canned beets. There are 5 quarts and 14 pints.
Also, Staci made burrito tacos, and she made it in excess so that there would be leftovers to freeze. Over here, she has the actual tacos that will get put in the vacuum sealer. She's also making these giant omelets that's going to go in the vacuum sealer and then in the freezer as well.
Ta-da! This one doesn't look perfect. I had a mishap.
Burrito omelets. If you haven't tried them, they're delicious. You should give it a shot.